Alright everyone, it's come to that. NATO has begun cringe posting on Twitter. Yeah, this will go over really well. It totally hasn't been ratioed to the point where I figured they would take the tweets down, but somehow they're still up there. This comes from NATO's official Twitter handle. To be clear about what we're dealing with, some official there green-lighted this Twitter thread. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Archive link in the description, of course, you can if you want, or the responses, although they're mostly negative. But listen to the cringe. A couple of these are juicy. If Ukraine loses and Moscow gets its way, the domino effect might be felt around the world. Now this is being ratioed by boomers who remember the term domino effect from the 1960s especially. Well, if Vietnam falls soon, all of Asia will be communists, and then everyone will be communists. Well, I mean, everything's moving in that direction thanks to the authoritarians who use promoting democracy as a cudgel against their ideological opponents while ushering in more and more state fascism. Fascism being similar to communism in many ways, by the way. Authoritarian ideologies are always far left. That is of necessity. But don't use the term domino effect. It's going to be seized upon. That was the 7th tweet there. And here's the real cringe one, though, that's really getting people going. Yes, it's heavily ratio. Ukraine is hosting one of the great epics of the century. Well, I mean, it is a large-scale war. Go on. We are Harry Potter and William Wallace, the Na'vi and Han Solo. We're escaping from Shawshank and blowing up the Death Star. We are fighting with the Harkonnens and challenging Thanos. That's a tweet from NATO. At NATO on Twitter. This is their official account. This isn't a parody. They're fully verified. This is actually them. Trust me, I double and triple checked. We haven't won yet. But in many ways, we have won. That doesn't make much sense, although it's not really cringe posting. Read Pavlo's full story on NATO Review, and they've got a link there. You can go through those responses. The non-archive version has all of them live. You can respond to it as well if you want. You wear Harry Potter. Why does this sound familiar? Oh, that's right. When Trump was the president, a bunch of leftoids started calling themselves Dumbledore's army, or insinuating that they were agents of Gandalf or followers of Theoden or something, riding into battle against the evil Orange Man Orc Horde and shit like that. Don't compare yourself to fictional characters, or frame what you are doing, a war or a social movement or something, as being similar to the Dumbledore's army or something. Like, you do realize, by the way, that was anti-state. So the liberals that keep clinging to that definition when their people are in power, censoring their ideological opponents, Dumbledore's army was not friendly towards the Ministry of Magic for a reason. If anything, J.K. Rowling was rather on point with regards to government dysfunction and corruption. And cover-ups. But we won't talk about that because it's really Dumbledore's army to just get rid of evil Trump Voldemort. Now we've got to get rid of evil, I guess, Putin Sauron as part of a great uprising. Or now he's Voldemort or Sauron. He's the Empire. He represents the Galactic Empire at its height. He's Darth Vader. I mean, I think Dick Cheney is a better fit for that myself, but oh well. Yeah, please don't do more cringe posting. As a person who doesn't have a problem with NATO itself, it's simply a military alliance encompassing much of the Western Hemisphere. It's tied in through the US and Britain, by the way, with other alliances, sub-alliances, encompassing half of Latin America, parts of Asia, parts of Africa, actually. A lot of people don't realize how large the capitalistic alliance is. It's basically like the Delian League, man. Well, if only they were actually fighting for civics and personal liberty and capitalism and free trade and things like that, I mean, I would full-throatedly support such an alliance. It's not really what it exists for, though. Not that the Eastern Bloc's better. I mean, it does contain China for a fucking goddamn reason. Love it when people are so mentally crippled that they don't realize that you can be skeptical towards NATO's warmongering or U.S. imperialism without embracing Vladimir Putin or communism a la Xi Jinping. That nuance is lost on, unfortunately, the majority of the population. Makes me wonder why they don't go back to teaching civics in school. Oh, wait. We answered our own question, didn't we? Watching NATO cringe post. I mean, it's funny, but when you've got an important thing, like you've got a major war going on, shit tons of people are dying. Ukrainians are dying, Russians are dying, Mercs are dying from various parts of the world, not just the Wagner people or Azov. You've got potentially hundreds of thousands of deaths at this point. You've got millions of people displaced. You've got a considerable increase in authoritarianism, by the way, in both Russia and Ukraine. Both of them muzzling the press, both of them leaning in on religious edifices. Hey, teach the right way or else, you know, we're going to condemn your church here. Zelensky has been doing this. You've got embezzlement. You've got corruption and graft. You've got the rise of China trying to aid Russia. You've got mujahideen a la early 80s levels of weapons entering Ukraine. The stage is set for a long and bloody struggle in which millions of people could die, and you could accidentally trigger a nuclear war. Please don't be so flippant, therefore, as to label it Harry Potterdom, or to start invoking fucking Han Solo. By the way, Han Solo was not exactly the most stellar character in the Star Wars universe, even if you look at just the canonical materials from George Lucas. He was a hardened thug and a gun and other goods smuggler, basically. He didn't give a fucking shit about anything but money until he fell for Princess Leia. That's basically the impetus behind that, was he wanted tail. He got it and made a Sith Lord out of it. So please, don't invoke Dumbledore's army. You sound like the pink hat people, the pussy hat crowd. The hashtag resistors. Well, I mean, in the end, yeah, I guess they kind of get their way. Not really, because they're all leftoids. They get a neoliberal old man with dementia as the steward of the United States. I guess that's their consolation prize. They got the Bronze Award, or said they got a participation trophy in life. NATO is cringe posting on Twitter. This is going to make the United States and the Western Alliance much stronger. Our enemies will respect us much more. Hey, Putin, we're Dumbledore. You're big bad duty head Voldemort, and he who will not be named. Come on, give me a fucking goddamn break. That's about all. Peace out.